Having the chance to watch these evil youngins make a fool of themselves and get schooled on the values of life will never get old to me.
It's disgusting, and you should be damn ashamed of yourself, and I don't believe that, and I'm not gonna fight until people like you do not have a place to come on here on my campus that I paid a school to go to and spew your lies.
Why so vulgar? This is going to be one of those type of videos. Oh my goodness, Lord.
I have a personal question for you. Are your beliefs about abortion and life and conception, does that have anything to do with your personal religious beliefs? Your belief that life begins at conception, that is not shared by a lot of people. It's not shared by me. It's not shared by any of my friends.
It needs to be.
So I'm asking you, why should your moral belief be the end all be all and make the law and take away the right to a clean, safe abortion for women to have? And the fact that you can sit here and say that the rapist baby,
exist?
the seed or whatever you want to call it, the baby that's still in your belly and that it's not born yet, that you should be forced to have that, it's disgusting. And the fact that you can come over here and have an entire career based off of this, and I'm not done speaking.
Oh.
And then you can sit here in front of my friend who was a victim of rape and say that she should have that baby. It's disgusting. And you should be damn ashamed of yourself. And
I remember the girl with the white right here and the brown sweatpants out there just clapping like a fool. Man, when she had that debate or interview or discussion where she got absolutely demolished and schooled on logical thinking and facts, the values of life, y'all got to go back and check out that video.
30 weeks to born,
her mom let her live, but she tried to argue that my mom was out here protesting the same things. A complete hypocritical stance. My goodness, why is there so much hate in this room? You could just feel the hate just oozing. It's just permeating throughout this whole culture that we live in. It's ridiculous. We need to value life and the blessing that God brought into this world. God don't make mistakes. No matter how it got there, whether you agree or disagree with it, that is a life. Give that baby a chance, just how you have the chance to walk the day to day. Come on now.
And I don't believe that, and I'm not gonna fight until people like you do not have a place to come on here on my campus that I paid a school to go to and spew your lies.
Well, I believe in the First
your
Amendment.
mom
Do you
paid
believe
for
in
that
the First
school.
Amendment?
Not you.
Do you?
Do you believe in the First Amendment? I've allowed you to sit here and scream at me for an hour and a half and
I'm saying I don't
yell
believe that you
vile,
should have the
disgusting
right to
things
take
to me.
away my access to a clean, safe abortion as a human right. I have the right to have the autonomy over my own body. You have the right to your autonomy over your own body. We both get knocked up, have sex, both of us pregnant. You want to abort it? You don't want to abort it? Your decision. If I want to abort it, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So who are you to sit here
Yeah,
and
so
tell
if I don't
me
want to own a slave,
that?
but you want to own a slave, am I supposed to just sit around and say that?
Do not sit here in front of a microphone and compare owning a slave to me, you white. You have no idea to sit here and say this to me.
Ma'am, that is the argument you just made.
No, it's not.
This is
No, it is
absolutely
not. That is
right.
your incorrect interpretation. That is a logical fallacy.
That is
You
the
think you can
argument.
sit here and go ring around
Ma'am,
the
that
rosy
is
with
the
me?
argument. Are you done with your question? Because you asked me like
You
three
haven't
things.
answered anything. You've actually
You
just made
haven't
a
let me
statement and
answer
completely
anything.
deterred my argument
All right,
in a
you can
completely
sit
different
down, I
way.
can
Oh,
answer
do
your
you think that you
question.
can own a slave? If I want to own a slave, can I own a slave? How can you sit here with a straight face and say that to me? How is you
yeah.
not embarrassed
Okay,
of yourself?
can you let me answer
How
your question?
is you?
How can you sit here and deny biology?
How can you sit here and deny biology? I'm going to ask you the same question.
Do you want me to answer your questions? If you will sit down, I will answer your questions.
I'm going to stand right here and I want you to...
The amount of ignorance being displayed right now.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't even have words. Like, she won't even let Kristan Hawkins get her point across. No matter what this girl's argument is, she's discredited by everything that she's saying is completely discounted. I'm not going to pay attention to you because you're having to use profanity. You're disrespectful. You're clearly very immature. And I love how Kristan the whole time is just maintaining her composure, her dignity, and she's sticking to her arguments if she can ever get to them and lay out her points. I know how this woman operates. She's very professional, very respectable, can engage in a civil debate without being angry and disrespectful and classless. And it's embarrassing. This woman, this girl's parents should be embarrassed. This ain't your campus. You have no right to talk to this woman like the freedom of speech, but not freedom to harass and freedom to just go bat, you know what, crazy for no reason. If you can't have a proper discussion without bashing, belittling, cursing, acting a complete fool, you shouldn't even be there. You might as well just go ahead and sit down like the little redhead girl that made herself look like a buffoon. My goodness. And there's no such thing as a clean abortion. Do you know what the process of abortion looks like? There is no clean abortion. And it's not just your body. It's not just your autonomy. When conception happens, that's another DNA. That's another embryo, zygote, whatever you want to label it as. That is a life. That is a blessing. You have not the ultimate say. You have no right to murder. God put it there. You have no right to kill that. Thou shalt not murder. Wow.
Tell me how you think it's okay to compare owning a slave to having an abortion. It is not even in the same ballpark.
Yes, because
Black people were not seen as people in this country.
yes,
they were
just like what
enslaved.
you've done time and time again tonight to an unborn child. You have argued.
Unborn child, not living.
you all-
Black people already existed. They were born.
Unborn
they were
children are
like
living,
literally
ma'am.
born into slavery.
Would you like me to answer your questions? I can't answer if you keep screaming at me. Do you want me to answer your questions?
I'm waiting.
Or are you going to stop
Are
talking?
you going to
Now
answer
you
my
wait.
question?
Yes.
Or are you going to sit here and look stupid?
That's you, sweetheart.
I'm quiet.
You're doing that all by yourself.
This is why we have the First Amendment, so they can
Am I
do this.
speaking?
So, no.
Still.
When we talk about abortion, we talk about the living human being that's present inside of a mother's womb. Biology confirms this fact. This is not a religious belief that I hold. This is a scientific fact. The law of biogenesis says like begets like. We know the definition of life, and we know what's inside of a mother is living because that child
Nope, not
is
yet.
growing. You can call the
Be quiet.
child a fetus, a clump of cells, whatever, but the fact is that entity, which is a member of our human species, because two humans can't reproduce anything other besides a human, is in fact alive. The arguments that you're making to support your extremist beliefs to justify
not
abortion
extremist.
is
It's
that
basic
the
human
child
right that
in
you're
the
trying to
womb
take away.
doesn't
Zip
have
it.
value. The argument you're
Please.
trying to and failing to make, in the argument that you really
You don't get to
should be
sit here and tell me
debating
what my
on-
argument is. If you want to
Ma'am,
answer
you
my
said you'd be
question, then
quiet.
answer my question.
Ma'am, you said you'd be quiet.
Answer the
The
question.
argument you're failing to make, and what you argument you should be making, is that you believe that the human inside of the womb has less value than a woman, and that certain people get
Yes,
to
it
decide.
does, because it's her
Exactly.
body, her choice.
Exactly.
Her body,
That is
exactly.
your
Her body,
False.
her
Yeah,
choice.
that is your argument.
Sorry,
It is
I'm so
not that it's not a human being or that's living, because that's flat out denying biology. We know it's living, and we know it's a human being.
What else would
What
it
you're
be?
arguing is that
somebody
child
shut this party down.
doesn't
Turn the
have
lights off.
the same right to life as his or her mother, because you have decided, and what you said during your comments was that if I got pregnant and chose not to have an abortion, I can do that, but you can choose to have abortion because the mother gets to decide the value of that person.
The mother-
That is
it's the mother's
exactly-
child. That's
Bam.
exactly what
You're
I'm
not
saying.
letting me
It
answer the
takes two
question.
to tango.
That's exactly what
Shut up.
happened. That's exactly what happened in pre-Civil War
Just say, what am I
America.
saying? Oh my God.
You could choose to assign value to Black Americans depending on what you felt like. You could say, oh, I am against slavery because I know these people are human beings that have value and no one has the right to own another human person. But if I was a plantation owner in the South, I could say,
no way
yeah,
this is
they have
real
some
life.
value, but they don't have
like
full
this actually
value
exist
because
outside
I
of, like,
deem it.
alt-right-wing
It's a
Twitter?
slippery slope. And that is not, by the way, that is not a religious belief. This is a scientific belief that this is a human being. Where we can differ on our belief is the
I ask a
value
question?
we assign. No, there's other people behind you.
I
There's
have
value
actually
that
one
you
more question
assign
to
to
ask,
human
and she
beings.
said I could ask a
That
question
is the
before I leave.
actual debatable question here today.
No,
is what
it's
is
not.
the value we assign to human beings in the womb? Does a human being in the womb have the same value,
are you gonna stop
the same
going
right
round
to
and
life
around and around,
as other
repeating
people,
yourself?
or do they not? That is the true pro-abortion argument. That if you would have taken an hour to research, you could have come and made. But you failed
Can
to
I
do
ask
that
my
because you
question
deny
now?
biology.
Can I
Next
ask my
person.
question
No,
now?
you can get behind the line. Back
Thank
the
You
you,
line.
can
Lord.
sit here and
You can
like
get in the
try
back
and
of the line.
create
She's been
this
waiting
argument and
patiently.
idea
Bring
that
the
you
wrath.
have of what we believe in and
Please.
push it back in my face, but it's not going to work. Your
You
little
can get in the back of the line.
logical fallacy, ring around the rosy, will not work on us. You disgust me, and if
All right, she's been
biology,
waiting to speak, ma'am. You're not allowing other women to speak.
Her shirt says something about faith in a trainer. Who is she training? She's training up a bunch of nincompoops, a bunch of goofballs. Like what? Do manners not exist? Does just morality not exist anymore? Just because you don't value life doesn't mean the majority of society doesn't. Doesn't mean that nobody else values life. You had choices. If you're pro-choice, by no means do you have the choice to murder a child. You're not even viable. It is a living thing. You're a living thing. You're not viable, clearly demonstrating that you have no ways to just have a discussion with another human being without bashing them because they think differently than you, because they value the life of an unborn child. If you take a baby out at 8 months, that no different than 9 months, all the way up to when the baby comes out of the birth canal. That couple seconds between the baby in the mother's womb and the baby coming out into, the earth, what's the difference? There is none. My goodness, man, it just amazes me that these children have no logical thinking. They can't just take a step back and view life as exactly what it is. A beautiful creation that God formed in the womb, knew you before you even formed in the womb, and put you there. Why can't we value that? And you're comparing slavery and abortion. What she's doing is she's comparing how you value life. People back in the day didn't value black African Americans, just like African Americans didn't value other African Americans, which is why they sold their own kind. Slavery has been part of our society, a part of humanity, going all the way back to the Adam and Eve days. The slave terms back then were different than what we perceive as slavery, but it all comes down to how you value another human being. And if you can't value an unborn innocent child, hasn't done anything, hasn't sinned, completely perfect before it even comes out into the earth, then how can you value another African American, a Mexican, an Irish? How can you value anybody? You can't. Your standards are ridiculous. They're out of this world. It's just really hard and difficult for me to sit back and listen to this foolishness without pointing out how hypocritical it is and how evil it is. Where are these parents? Where are these parents? Kristan Hawkins has been trying to answer this girl's questions, and she just constantly just rebuttals and yells out and lashes out and says she's dancing around. But you can't gain another perspective. You can't gain another piece of insight that, hey, you may not know, because unless you're God, you don't know everything. You don't even know half of everything, not even close. You can't gain insights if your mouth is running. Slow to speak, quick to listen. Please just hear somebody out and, oh my Lord, please, Lord, bring the wrath. They need it. They need it.
Suck my c***. Suck it.
What? What is wrong with these people, man? There's so much. There's just so much wrong. And I'm going to have to bleep out a million curse words and vulgar language. But I feel sorry for any man that gets involved with this young woman right here. I feel very sorry for her. She doesn't need to become anybody's mother until she grows up and lets go of her anger. I don't know what she's holding on to. I don't know how she was brought up, but it's not the baby's fault how you were brought up. Blame your parents. Blame whoever did what they did to you. And it all happens for a reason. God works everything together to serve his kingdom. So this girl, she's going to get exactly what's coming to her. And I pray to God that she wakes up, that she realizes and cherishes the values of a baby, unborn or born. It doesn't matter. Your choices are abstinence, wrap it up, birth control, adoption, but by no means do you have the right to end that life. That's exactly what it is. At conception, that's when that becomes a life, because it's different than yours. It has a whole different set of genetic DNA. So you clearly missed the anatomy courses. You clearly don't understand basic levels of biology. These young kids are of this world. Satan is guiding their paths. Satan can't make you sin. The devil can't make you act a fool and dive into lawlessness, but he can sure tempt you. And if you want to relish in it, if you think that that's true freedom, hey, when it comes judgment day, you're going to find out. If you don't find Jesus Christ, you don't repent, ask for forgiveness, and pursue the path of righteousness before it's all said and done, you just keep murdering babies, thinking it's clean, thinking it's cool, thinking it's convenient, you're going to find out. I'm telling you, we all are going to live forever. It's either going to be forever in eternal peace and salvation in heaven, or it's going to be forever in damnation, gnashing of teeth in hell, the fiery furnace. Which one you want? I'm going to be straight. Like, which one do you want to go to? I try to be friendly. I try to be compassionate. I try to be loving. And I pray for these people. It's very sad that this is the youth. This is the level of students and education that we have today. It's very sad, but it is what it is. And we got to judge correctly, not just off mere appearances. She made it really clear where she stood once she opened her mouth. So I'm judging with righteous judgment. And if you can't get down with life, if you can't get down with valuing other human beings, no matter what they look like, if you're not going to be salt and light of the earth, I can't rock with you. And I'm going to point out your sins. I'm going to point out your flaws. I'm going to do it in a loving way until I got to really tell you, like, no. I want you to be directed towards the righteous path. I point this out, this ridiculous evil behavior, because I want you to be saved. I used to be on that left side. I know what it's like. like to be over there. And I don't try to pick sides because I want to be divided. I pick sides because there's right and there's wrong. This is clearly wrong. Y'all let me know what you think down below. Again, shout out to Kristan Hawkins for being such a loving, kind, just class-filled individual. I love everything she does, and I really respect her stance. And it takes a lot of composure to go up in a debate like this, to hear that sort of wickedness being spewed at you without wanting to clap back. It takes a lot of composure. I probably couldn't do it. I don't have that level of patience, but salute to people like Kristan for being the people that do. I appreciate you. Pray for that woman. Pray for her safety. Pray that this society gets directed towards what real peace and love and happiness looks like. You can't have that without Jesus Christ. You can have all the money, all the riches, all the conveniences, do all the abortions that you want to, but if you ain't got Jesus Christ and you ain't got the truth of the gospel, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, you ain't got nothing, sweetheart. If you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed hearing my perspective, at least. You might not have enjoyed the actual content and the structure of the video, but if you enjoyed hearing my take on it, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, ring that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a video. And if you want to support the channel, you want to take it a step further, you can always get awesome shirts like this made by my lovely wife over on her Etsy store. This says Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper. That's God Almighty. We also got tumblers now available, also made by my lovely wife, Mrs. Gibson. This is Be the Light from Matthew 5:14. All my links are down below in the description section if you want to check out my stuff and everything that I use to make these videos. All of that is down below. But in all seriousness, I love y'all. I'm praying for you, for this young woman, for Kristan, for all the people in this crazy world, that they get directed towards righteousness and they see what their sin actually looks like and how that's not going to get you eternal salvation. That's going to get you eternal damnation. So pray for them, y'all. Till next time, Godspeed. I'm gone.